A lot of people think that NF is a copy of Eminem, and by a lot of people, I do that thing that I don't like my students to do, where I just kind of assign the principle or the idea I want to talk about to some random crowd of invisible people. Really, honestly, the whole world would be a lot better place if people didn't do things like that, so sorry about that. But a lot of people, whoever these people are, think that NF is kind of a copy of Eminem. Go ahead and comment down below if you agree with that, just so we know who you are. And I want to talk about that, especially because Eminem supposedly put a diss against NF on one of his recent tracks from Kamikaze, The Ringer. And I'm like days, months late to this party and this conversation, but I want to talk about it in the context of, well, wait a second, is NF actually a clone or a copy of Eminem? And then I want to hear what you guys have to say. So let's go ahead and talk about it. Hey everybody, I'm Clifford Stummy, the Pop Song Professor. Welcome to my channel where we make English class awesome by explaining and sometimes roasting song lyrics on school days, and today we are talking about the differences and the similarities between NF and Eminem, like that whole intro thing that I just said. Don't forget, this video is sponsored by the How to Write Lyrics Like NF course that I designed, so it's beautiful. It's down in the description. It's got 10 lessons about how to write lyrics like NF. If you like NF and you like writing lyrics, it's the course that was designed for you particularly. There's 10 prompts, and there's a Discord community to share what you write with others who will also share what they write. So check that out, guys, and let me know what you think. But back to the topic at hand. First things first, Eminem supposedly dissed NF. There's these people who think that NF is a copy of Eminem, and Eminem maybe thinks the same thing. So on his song The Ringer, he raps, "But last week an ex-fan mailed me a copy of the Mathers LP to tell me to study. It'll help me get back to myself and she'll love me. I mailed the bitch back and said if I did that, I'd just be like everyone else in the fucking industry, especially an effing recovery clone of me." An effing recovery clone of me. NFing. Is he saying NF there? On one hand, it's not spelled NF in the official lyrics or anywhere that I can find on the internet, so that's one vote against. The vote for is that Eminem never, let's just say never, has a problem using the full F word. So why is all of a sudden he getting super nervous about it? And I'm not gonna say the full F word, I'm Eminem and I'm just gonna say effing. Okay, cool, that's not really who Eminem is, and so when Eminem doesn't swear, pay attention. That's the rule here. Especially an effing recovery clone of me. And so the fact that he's talking about somebody, because we know NF shares some similarities with Eminem, was inspired by Eminem. So when he says N effing, we have that sound in the same line as a clone of me, talking about somebody who's similar to him, it feels very much like he's talking about NF. It does not feel unintentional because, believe you me, I've studied some Eminem and he doesn't do a lot of things unintentionally. Oh my gosh, he's really good at writing lyrics. But anyway, so what I did is I was like, Eminem apparently seems to be thinking NF is a clone of him. So what is going on here? So I listened to the whole Recovery album to try to get the vibe and the sound of it, and I've been doing a ton of study of the Perception album by NF, and I was like, what are the similarities and the differences here? And the similarities: intense rhymes and anger. They're both angry, and they both use a ton of rhymes, multi-liners, multi-syllables, whatever. There's a lot going on there, very complicated lyrically, and there's a lot of anger in what's happening, largely based around kind of like their backstory, or who they were either as a child or before the age of 25. And after 25, Eminem's a successful rap artist, so he doesn't, theoretically he wouldn't have anything else to be angry about. So it really feels like they're both angry about something from their backstory. But there's a lot of things that are different. NF seems to have a central vibe that he's really branded and latched onto. It involves some, I think, trap beats. It's got this dark, edgy vibe that if I had to describe it as a color, I would say dark bluish purple, kind of, where it's just it's very, very intense, and he has the yo all the time, or what's the sound he makes? Anyway, somebody comment that down below. I can't remember what sound NF makes to punctuate his lines, but he does it a lot, right? And he's got these little trademark signature things that are unique to him, and he does these, and they're not just copying of Eminem, and he doesn't copy Eminem's topics. Particularly, I did some study of the Revival album by Eminem, and Eminem has a couple of different tones: sad, angry, caustic or choleric, and then melancholy. And NF he doesn't do caustic, he just does melancholy, sad, and angry. And he, like, when Eminem gets caustic, he just is like tearing things apart, gets super vulgar, swears a lot more, all this stuff. NF doesn't ever do that. He never like lets go and just takes it out on people. So big difference there. There's that unique sound to NF where it feels like a lot of his songs are kind of focused around this sound, whereas Eminem, on the other hand, is a lot more likely just to do whatever the heck he feels like. We'll throw in a skit here, we'll make a pop song here, we're gonna get really super dark and angry here. All right, now we're gonna be making fun of the world and how absurd it is over here, and I'm gonna talk about fecal matter over here. And he just feels, it feels random. It feels like he has so much energy and it's going in so many different directions, and he does all of them, you know, technically well. And NF, on the other hand, just is like really, really good at like his specific sound. So I definitely, and it's not a sound that you hear on Eminem all the time, honestly. Like, it's like maybe NF was inspired by Eminem at the beginning, particularly lyrically, but sound-wise, I think it's different. I think there's just more trap, and it's more like, there's more synth. Eminem is more likely to use a variety of instruments. NF will sing, whereas Eminem rarely sings, if ever. And then I think that a lot of times NF tends to use like one unique sort of like flow with a lot of intense rhyming, whereas Eminem is more likely to mix things up and use pauses in his flow and give it a lot more like variety and dynamicism. Is that a word? But so my overall conclusion there was that they've got some similarities, but it feels like NF has moved away from, you know, being inspired by Eminem. Maybe, you know, he still is, I'm sure, but it's like he's found his own sound and he's really narrowed it down. So I feel like this diss would have been more appropriate, particularly that one music video he did on the airplane where he's just like super angry and there's no real reason. He's tearing the airplane apart. Guys, remind me of the words. I'm just doing this in one take because there's so much work to be done. So I can't go look this up right now. I'm just saying stuff off the top of my head, but I felt like that could have been, he could have been accused of being an Eminem ripoff, but not with Perception. So anyway, I feel like a couple of things here. Number one, Eminem is so influential, it would be hard for somebody not to be inspired by him. And everybody's gonna have some element of being an Eminem clone just for the fact of the matter that he does so many things so well. Second, I think NF has found his own supercharged dark vibe that is unique enough from Eminem that he doesn't really sound like him anymore. And then finally, NF is not just talking about the same kind of topics that Eminem talks about. Like, he's developed his own character, his own personality. He's developed this like house, this mansion, right? And in the therapy session, he talks about his relationship to fans more. And so sound-wise, he's not like Eminem. Or at least not really anymore. Topic-wise, he's doing his own thing for sure. Tone-wise, sometimes he'll be angry, but he doesn't do all of the things that Eminem does. And then the last thing, the thing that he's the most similar on is definitely like the lyrical writing style, where they both use a ton of multi-liners. They use a lot of multi-syllable rhymes chained together in very intense flows, and they use some of the same tactics to add energy, not just through the anger of their voice, but through the way that they rhyme and the words that they are rhyming. So in that respect, which might be the one that Eminem cares about most, there are a lot of similarities there. But since when did you diss somebody being a clone of you for like using multiple rhymes in a row? So overall, this is not me being a fanboy of either one of them, but I felt like this was kind of a weak diss and that there really wasn't the similarity there to sustain it being super intense, where it's kind of like, okay, it's actually honestly more cool, I think, that Eminem just noticed NF. I think that's kind of cool. So anyway, big question, was it a super fair diss? It was probably fair, but I didn't think it really hit that well. And then second, is NF a copy of Eminem? And the answer to that, I think, is not anymore. But I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about this. Love to get your thoughts. And this is probably gonna be our last video of the NF series, and it's gonna be time to move on to another one. So definitely comment down below what artists should we talk about and, you know, pick apart weekly starting next week. Comment down below, let me know. Don't forget to check out the How to Write Song Lyrics Like NF course, and check out this video here, how Eminem writes rap lyrics, and then these videos from the NF series that we've been doing, particularly Lie. That's all I got for you guys. Talk to you later.